1.
Okay, we'd like to welcome everybody to the April meeting of the Templeton Community Preservation Committee. We have a quorum of members here and I don't see anybody online.
Nope.
Okay, so we'll get rolling. First item on the agenda is the meeting minutes from our last meeting of March 14th. In your packet, you have the minutes. And hopefully you've had a chance to review it, etc. I have them and they look fine to me.
Make a motion, we accept the minutes as written. Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded to accept the minutes as written. Any discussion? Hearing none, we will just do an overall voice vote. All those in favor of approving the minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Unanimous. Passes. Thank you very much. Admin update.
I have no update today.
No, okay, that's good. CPC Finances. Once again, we have in our packet the listing of all the currently open projects as well as the buckets of potential funding. We went through it comprehensively last month. One thing to note is those projects which now have a zero balance, those will be removed by the beginning of next fiscal year by the accountant. So as we close out projects with a zero balance, they automatically get removed. If there is a balance and the project is done, then we vote to close it. That's nothing pending on that at this point, but there could be. You can see sources of revenue that we've received in the past period, including some old stuff as well as the current things. Does anybody have any questions or comments about the finances? We'll just keep moving along then and go to our current project list. The first item that you see.
Well, actually, under finances, you wanted to talk about the invoice.
Okay, I was just gonna be do that under the current projects, but you mean the invoice for?
Yep, this one that's right after the
Match, yeah.
finances. Yep, for the sign.
Oh, yeah, that's why so you'll see there's an invoice there from Hale Custom Sound for the signs for the Scout Hall sign. And if you look on the back side of it, you'll see what the actual sign. I thought I saw that.
You did
somewhere.
one more page.
Okay. Oh, yeah,
There you
that is the sign that's posted up there right now. Looks great. They have gotten to a point where they're getting close towards occupying that building or making it available for occupancy. They have some other bucket list items to expend money on. So they requested whether we as a committee might be able to expend the $541 signage cost from our administrative budget. Because they basically, if you look at the finances, you would see that they're showing a balance of $11,610. They still got some outstanding items like apparently a new ramp.
A new ramp
And things
and
like
all the emergency like fixtures, like
lighting and stuff like that. So they've done a good job of identifying what the proposed cost would be. So they're getting down to the wire. I suggested that I could bring it up tonight to see if this committee is willing to expend the $541.63 from our administrative budget, which, as you could also see, has currently $14,889.83, and the funds for which we need to cover current projected costs, like Jessica's portion of her salary is more than enough to cover all that.
So moved.
Okay,
I'm not gonna vote for this.
I'm wondering if they would have a balance listing. If they haven't spent already. That we know.
they indicated to me that they did not project there to be a balance when all the project is complete, because they're going through the procurement process of identifying vendors and things like that.
I asked the same question and got
Wait a
the same
minute,
answer.
You order a sign, you have it printed out, you pay, it comes, you hang it on the building, and now you send somebody else a bill and ask us to pay for it and vote for it. I mean, that's just like, wow.
It is a requirement.
It is.
It is a requirement and they wanted to go forward with that. They asked about that and I said we couldn't, pay for it unless there was a vote to do so. So that will determine whether it is or is not.
it's a pretty affordable sign in comparison to some we've seen with other projects, which have been upwards of thousands of dollars.
I just don't understand what, if they didn't, when they did the bills and they knew why they ordered the sign without coming to us first and getting the money.
Well, the sign has to be ordered. It's just where it's coming from to pay for it.
Right, but you still ordered it, had it printed.
Well, as
done.
you know, this project has been, it's been a long drawn out thing and they've gotten two separate, appropriations and they've changed, missions, Bob came in and has really taken the bull by the horns to get it to the finish line. To me, it's not unreasonable to provide for a little breathing room. If it turns out for some reason there was excess funds, then that would go back to the fund from which it came. Our administrative budget is there to support administrative expenses for the Community Preservation Act. Ultimately, and as we have with our other projects, we have made sure that they have that paid for from their project, from the get-go, understanding that is a requirement. That's not the case at this point, so they're asking us for the money from a separate bucket.
If when they close out the project, there's excess money left behind, could this committee make a decision to transfer the money from that account back into the administration account? To recoup the money that we,
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I mean, the budget that we are allowed for our administrative funds is fixed by the percentage of maximum of 5% of our total revenues. But to replace money from a project, it seems to me that would be a reasonable request. We're not increasing our appropriation for that required item, so.
Right.
That's a good suggestion, and it was certainly something I would follow up on, but I wouldn't be able to say definitively without asking.
you would think you'd be able to, I mean, you're helping them out of a jam right now. And if they have money left, you should be able to recoup that money.
It should come back to us anyway.
Well, it would go back to the bucket from which it came, which would be the Historic Preservation
But it wouldn't
Fund.
go back to administration.
So whether we can request transfer back to the administrative budget,
That's true.
it's.
Different fund, but it would come back
It would
to.
come back to the Citizens Community Preservation Funds. Okay, so we do have a motion to do that. but
Mr.
we did
Andrews,
not get-
second.
We did get a second, okay?
Yeah.
So the motion on the floor is whether we want to expend that $541.63 from the administrative budget. What other comments or questions do we have?
Can we tell them grudgingly we approve it? If hopefully
whatever-
they'll be able to take it out of their own balance.
We can use any kind of language we want, as long as it's not too salty. But the function that we have is the vote and that.
Yeah, I guess we have to. We have
Well,
to,
that, when people come from, in for projects, we just make sure that, it's, you have to have a sign and that comes in under what's voted on.
Well, what makes them think they're gonna end up short?
Well,
They already have the quotes from the ramp and the emergency.
Oh, okay, so the
Yeah.
monies are spoken for.
I asked the same questions of the town administrator and got the same answers that Mr. Henshaw got.
we have to be a lot more frugal this year. For expenditures, but I guess this is something we have to do.
yeah, and frankly, I'm looking forward to closing a lot of these projects all out so that.
Yeah, I think we all
This is
are,
when
yeah.
it's been around since 2010 or so, a long time, but. Any other questions or comments regarding the motion on the floor? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Since this does have money, we will do a roll call vote. We'll start with George,
Yes.
Joanne,
Yes,
Dennis.
Yeah,
I'll vote yes. Mike, George?
No.
Candace? No. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It passes. Thank you, and we will say we really are disappointed that this wasn't addressed within the budget. Allocated, so we recognize the need.
maybe that could be a point that we would make with everybody that we talk to, that just remind them that sign has to be part of the process.
I really try to.
Yeah.
I do. With all the new projects that I'm in communication with, Mr. Henshaw and I really do, but this was just so old, I guess.
Yeah, they tend to get focused on the actual project.
Yeah. Yeah. But there's some projects that like, that was the first thing that was done, the Baptist Common Cemetery Access Project, the signs were were the first thing done before we even like did any tree removal. It was crazy. So,
So we're gonna continue on discussing current projects, and so you'll see the next page is that last night at the select board meeting. The select board brought forth this Scout Hall operating procedures. And I don't know, I wasn't there, was it officially voted
No,
on?
it wasn't because there's problems with it.
Yeah,
it was
and-
tabled to the next meeting.
Yes, because there's
Um,
problems
oh,
with it. It goes
oh,
against
the
some of the
exec-
policies in the town.
Well, I
There
was
were-
there for when Candace pointed out that it's conflicted with some of the other building use policies. Frankly, this is not our business.
No, the only reason that Mr. Henshaw and I put it in the packet was because of what I highlighted in yellow, which has to do with CPC funds. And Mr. Henshaw and I didn't write that, and so we didn't know if you guys were okay with that and we could give our support on that, or if you thought that that was irrelevant and we would just advise them to take that out.
Or do nothing.
Yeah.
So basically what she's referring to obviously is where it says the exterior Scout Hall signage must remain in its current location and not altered. This is a legal requirement since community preservation funds were utilized on the Scout Hall project. The exterior sign can be found in Exhibit A.
Which Exhibit A is the back of the.
Why is this in here?
I don't
This-
know why it's
it's
in there,
child-
but
Not an
It's
operating
childish.
feature.
I'm sorry, it's childish. This is getting ridiculous now.
That's why we're concluding our engagement with this,
Yeah.
but you know, if you have operating procedures, it doesn't seem like, you know, this is a requirement. It's kind of
Yeah.
a moot issue.
it's kind of covered under what you all do
Yeah.
anyway, so.
I mean,
um,
anything like that, the town can vote at any point, 100 years from now, 50, do whatever, you know? That's kind of like,
So
Yeah,
what,
and I don't know who would take it down anyway. because
I know, it's a lot of money.
Just the,
right, yeah.
500 and something dollars, so I don't know who's gonna take it down.
But
So if you-
Mr. Henshaw and I didn't write it, and so we thought we should just bring it to you and just, if you guys were in support of it and you liked it, cool, and if not, then, you know, we could just say, you know, we feel that.
it's
it should-
superfluous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Good word.
yeah, great word.
I like that. Let's call it
Unnecessary.
That emotion.
Make a
So-
motion.
Well, we could just say that we've discussed it at this meeting, and if this board feels it's not necessary to be part of the operating procedures, why complicate it by adding more verbiage to a policy?
Exactly.
So are we happy with that type of a position on this?
Yeah.
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 Yes, everybody?
To see
Yeah.
CPC, I mean, Templeton Community TV.
Maybe we should let you write it. Yeah, so I think that's part of the other issue is like the keys and this and that and the other thing.
Yeah,
So we're not
Not our,
any of
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
just want to bring that up. So I,
So
Mr. Henshaw and I will communicate that the CPC supports removing that unnecessary.
we just don't feel it's necessary as part of
Unnecessary.
operating procedure. It's like,
Yep.
it's a, you know,
It exists. yeah.
every CPC, just
Yep.
like we have a new sign out here,
Yep.
hopefully some of you guys
Yep.
see. So
Yeah.
Got it.
nobody has any problem with that. So we don't really
No.
need to necessarily make a formal
Nope.
vote, but we can discuss that we unanimously did not feel it was necessary.
Got it.
Okay, so,
Thank you.
yes, next on your list is something that's, also involves, a current project. I want everybody to know, so we have been working with Mark Shirapelli,
Mazzarelli.
Mazzarelli,
Very good. It rhymes, John.
New name.
Mark.
That's
Yes,
good.
Mark.
And so the town had a contract with Mark to do the design. We had a meeting there. Candace was there. You know, Jessica was there. I don't remember if you were there, Mike, but we also had
Other leaders of other
Yeah.
town departments.
Like,
Mr. Brio from the veterans
Yeah.
and you know, et cetera. So this is the park. Houghton Park. There has been a discussion of having in it a you know, a veterans or a heroes park component. And what you see here is, and we were also, as everybody knows, we got that park grant. Thanks to Candace working with Grace Lind, our grant writer. And so what we're seeing under this first thing is the phase one master plan concept, which aligns with what the funds are to be used from the park grant. Is
Right.
that right, Candace?
yes.
Yes.
This is the
Yep.
match grant of CPC.
And then on the second page, you can see it kind of zoomed out a little bit for the phase one. It shows the parking lot and the playground area. So that just covers the park grant.
Yeah, so that 136,000 grant primarily is gonna be doing asphalt work and playground materials. The town has done some in-kind contributions already by removing the old stuff. So after phase one funds have been expended, which those will start in July, I think the grant starts then. And then we will be able to accommodate this phase two. And basically, the master plan is, if you go
To the third page.
the third page, and you can see basically, if you look at it from left to right, they've changed the orientation of the ball field so that it's more conducive to the sun, et cetera, and fits within the framework of the field. You'll see the skate park in the back. Parks and Rec had recommended that be drafted out as a skate park because it was originally going to be basketball, but there's been a lot of local requests.
Yeah, we've had, let's just say we have makeshift little skate parks throughout the town over the years. And apparently we found out as we were going through the master plan project that it was supposed to be a skate park down there. So, and because we already have a basketball at our other park, they felt like, the commissioners felt like we should really honor that. Plus, skate parks are becoming a family-oriented thing these days. They bring a lot of the kids and stuff. Because the generations that grew up with skate park are now doing it with their kids. So it's a wonderful thing to see.
Yeah, we had a good skate park that got used right, where the new elementary school is now, and haven't had one since, other than these ad hoc, down the staircase type things.
It would be offensive on that skate park.
And you need to design it that way, so it would, it's the typical, it would have like, it's that cement pieces, and then it has the railing pieces, extra pieces and stuff like that. So it'd be like one kind of unit.
Yeah, so just remember that this is the conceptual design. There's no money associated with getting any of this work done at this time. But so there's where it would sit. By the time it comes around to getting funding, would have to go through the real nailing down of what the definition is. You can see also that there's a little blue building in there. That's where a restroom would be. There would be more parking, so up to 40 parking spots as opposed to the phase one, which is 20. In both cases, there's two handicapped accessibles. They've got the grades worked out so that it's at the right slope for playgrounds and this, that, and the other thing. And then carving out where all these veterans monuments are. There's different ones for the different wars.
And if you go to the last page, you can see the Heroes Park zoomed in.
And so Mr. Brio is already going to be looking at doing fundraising to get a Vietnam veteran monument. He said they cost anywhere from he's projecting $55,000 or something like that. But that's the kind of thing that the veterans community and the community at large would probably support wholeheartedly, and having the community come together to do a fundraiser also brings more community support and activity. So that should be good. There's a Christmas tree in the front there, or a tree that could be lit as a Christmas tree.
A new white spruce.
A new white spruce.
Mhm.
And there's other trees recommended and things like that. So once again, this is a conceptual thing. There are also some lot line issues that we'll have to address. If you look in the top center of the previous page, was a diagonal line. There is some areas where the abutters have kind of conflated their lines, if you will, but so we got a bill from them. They had a contract for $9,800. We have an appropriation for $11,800, I believe. There was some overage due to some other supplies and stuff, which is what our intent was to cover. So they sent us an invoice of $9,941.
Yep.
And that will still leave a little balance in there should we need it to do something else, until we decided we didn't, and then we would close it out or we would spend it. But the goal, I think, would be to look on the radar, our funding streams. How much is it going to cost? What is it going to take? How do we go next? And just like we're doing in Ballville for the MEMA building, we got a design thing done. Next, we got to go forward with some bid documentations to price out something so that we can bring it to a vote for the large scale, and it may be a phased approach or whatever. So, and I don't know what the process would be as far as accepting the plan. You guys had made comments.
Yeah, we had voted to say that we supported the draft. And then they looked at the final stuff and, they didn't know if they had to do an official vote to say that this is what they approved of, you know what I mean? They weren't sure if there was more drawings or something they had to look at, but they loved it, the last meeting. So, I mean, just a formality when it comes to that, but, yeah, if we need to do an official, vote on it, we will do official vote on it.
And I don't think that'll be necessary because this is a
It's-
master.
yeah,
plan, But it's
yeah.
subject to detail.
Detail, yeah, but it had everything that, over the years that we've discussed and as a commission and, he did a wonderful job and he supported every aspect of like, you know, the veterans. It was a big concern for us to make sure that they got the Heroes Park that they deserved. And, I thought he's done a beautiful job on putting that together. And then us discovering things, we're so grateful that we were able to discover that their skate park should have been there. I mean, to have the things that people wanted to be where they want to be is very important for us in the commission when it comes, especially when it comes to recreational stuff. But even Mark had said that the way the trees are in the back and so if you see, he even did like a little dotted line in case we wanted to do like a walking path, because there's trees and stuff. So there's a lot of detail he put into it and a lot of possibilities for the town to find funding for, you know, and there's a lot of grants out there, so hopefully we can get some to help out with this.
Yeah, and that's another great point is that now we've gotten this park grant, we're gonna be going forward, we're gonna be expending those monies, we're gonna get our reimbursement back and we can ask Graceland, it's like, okay, keep your ears open.
Yeah.
And maybe a specific, okay, there's money that perfectly suited for a skate park. Okay, well, here's where we would have it. We've got this much work done. Let's go to the next step. We don't have to do everything all at once. I don't know if there's any conservation issues there that,
It's more down near the playground area.
okay. And then I know there was some drainage concerns and
Yeah.
things like that, and even the
Drain-
drainage of the parking lot, you know, and all those things will need to be dealt with as we go away from phase 1 to phase 2 to phase 3. So I guess perhaps we should discuss whether we're in support of this, just for the record.
Curiosity, how much woodland is it?
I don't know. They said we own quite a bit of acreage out there. That's what he said. Cause I didn't realize, I mean, you see when you see a deed and stuff like that, it's like, but we didn't walk out there to see it. Well, I guess there's quite a bit, he said.
That was recently surveyed, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and the pins and everything's marked and a trail out there, and then there's more woods and the river's not too far away either, so.
But he said it was utilized space that, I mean, there would be a lovely situation where people could walk around it. As we were going through it, and I was like, what do you mean? And I was like, he's like, yeah, draw that in.
Over 7 acres.
Yeah, it's quite a bit.
It says 7.5 and some square feet, so.
Great.
That's good sense.
Okay, so what I would like to do is have a vote to approve paying the bill, which is also an indication that we're pleased with the result.
I make a motion that we, what was the amount?
$9,941 and
8 cents.
8 cents.
Okay, I make a motion that we pay the bill for the
I'll second.
designing of this project.
Okay, motion made and seconded to pay. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll do the vote. George?
Yes.
Joanne?
Yes,
Dennis?
Yes.
I'll vote yes. Mike?
Yes.
George?
Yes.
And
Yes.
Candace? Yes, okay, unanimous. Yeah, and
Yep.
I think I agree with Candace. I think he was very forthright and helpful and it was pleasure.
It's very
working with him.
flexible,
Yeah, he was
very
yeah.
helpful, yeah.
No, this is-
Especially when I
that's
call,
great.
I messaged him and said, can you make that basketball court a state?
Okay, so one other item under current projects, it actually it really is old business, but it's been brought to my. So I guess I'll bring it up at the end. Any other current open projects? Anybody wants to have a discussion? Candace, you're going out for the pickleball thing's moving, right?
Yeah, so the fencing on the pickleball has been taken down. They were gonna come and take off the surfacing, the old stuff. But it didn't work out this week, so we're hoping maybe next week they'll get down to it, but the company everybody's moving along and yeah, the town the building and grounds DPW took all the fencing down. They did an excellent job. Broke up some old concrete that's involved in that. And I think they brought that down to Graves or something. But yeah, they did a great job. They got it down, pretty fast and, now we're just waiting for the other step to come and they'll take that off and then they'll start resurfacing at some point. You know, we just want people to know when they go to the park, to the playground and to like field one to be mindful because we just don't know how encroaching the construction will be on those areas. So even the basketball court is just right there. So people should be, mindful of that. They may have to not be able to do some things.
Yeah, so certainly in that case, we would want to make sure public safety
Yeah.
is, in the loop and they go with whatever they recommend.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's great. That's exciting. And then as far as like the Baptist Common thing, is any,
It's just really saturated right now and the DPW director doesn't want to put, as I directed him not to put heavy machinery on the ground right now.
yeah, it's a little.
But I think split rail fencing would be next.
Okay, yeah, so we should certainly, figure out exactly, because, we had estimated the lineal feet from a lot
Yeah.
different,
The
Wow.
fencing will be less than what we estimated since we're not going all the way to the road.
Well, that's good. And I believe, and then as far as Grange Hall, that project is coming towards completion on the bathrooms.
Yep.
It is potential. They may have some, they may get all the bathrooms done within budget, under budget.
Yep.
At which point we could close that out, not until we're totally sure. Obviously, we have, and we'll talk about this year's town meeting next, but they have another proposed article for that to do be the lift. And then we can, wrap that project up.
If I may say though, that list that you guys have with all the funds on it, the zero balance funds are gonna get off of the list by the end of June.
Mhm.
So if you want to not see anything on the list by end of June is like an ideal time to do it. Otherwise, they'll be there for a whole nother year. Because she said she closes them or she removes them from the list at the end of every fiscal year, which is June 30th. So
So it'd be good to-
obviously, if you can't, you can't, but
Yeah, maybe we can get rid of if we get resurface and then if the cupola is going out to bid, we'll get rid of our
Yep.
2 misspelled projects. And yeah, so and then Scout Hall should be spent down
Yep.
and so we've made good progress on all these items. Which leads us, any other discussion on any current projects? No, so the annual town meeting is May 15th. I did the selectmen vote all the articles last night?
they just voted the whole thing in. Yeah,
Okay, so none of ours were
they
rejected.
didn't talk about us, thankfully. So we're okay.
So all the projects that we voted already will be coming
On the
to the
warrant.
floor. Or going through the process of getting to the warrant. And that, of course, will put us in a position where we will have potentially committed a pretty high percentage of our total available funds.
That's the last page in your packet.
Mhm.
Also, just so you all know, there's like a non-binding question in the last page of the warrant for a town meeting that asks if the town wants to discontinue Stone Bridge or if they want to turn it into like a recreational bridge. So maybe that'll give us some information on what's happening with the CPC funds, depending on what the town votes.
Yeah,
they
because if the
haven't-
town doesn't vote to discontinue the road, which was kind of, should have been done before we pursued money to do anything down there, then all of the funds that we had allocated are in limbo. Probably there could be some accommodation made that would still fit within the scope of the proposed work. But certainly not a little walking bridge if they're gonna keep it a driving road. So we have 2 big projects tying up money in there.
Is this amount, is this like if they were to do a walking bridge, would this take care of the whole thing? Does anybody know? Like,
Yeah, we got some
I don't-
estimates,
okay.
way back when it was
Yeah.
2020. So we'd have to redo it, but you'll see that we have the 2 separate items,
Okay.
$83,000.
Well, I'm sure someone's gonna ask, I mean,
Yeah.
I know there's funds for it to actually put a walking bridge. I didn't realize, I wasn't really thinking.
And it could be like a little area to
Oh,
do
my head.
like a boat launch into the pond and things like that.
Mhm.
And if they are gonna continue the road or rebuild it, the $1 million bridge over that, it's also gonna have to be you know, a Mass DOT approved bridge with lighting and
John, can the sign that needs to go at Stonebridge, can that come out of one of those buckets?
well, that was the one thing I was gonna bring up under, so we did a project, a land grant with Conservation Commission many years ago where CPA funds were the matching source for an LAND or land grant with DCR. DCR has requirements that say that you must have signage up there. And when the conservation agent, Dave Kuntz at the time, got the nice sign down there. And I was at the time thinking that that was what we would also address our need, but it doesn't reference CPA on there. So if you look at the sign, if you go down there, there's a nice sign. We would just need to put a little additional banner
Additional ban.
on the bottom that says, funded by the citizens of Templeton and the CPA, the same language we use on all those other things.
Right.
That was the grant, that was a project that has been closed out. That was something that could be the conservation fund money that we have that $8,000 sitting for, could be used for that. Our administrative budget could be used for that. I don't know whether we could, because it's called Stonebridge Conservation Area, but it's not the same area. I mean, it's not the same geography. I don't think we could use that Stonebridge project money to pay for a Stonebridge Conservation Area sign, because they're not in the same space.
Okay.
Now, I can't believe that sign is gonna be too expensive. And I'm just gonna call it, but everybody's, I know George has seen what I'm talking about, but I took a picture of the sign.
Well, the Scout Hall one was 500, so it's, should be less than that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a small thing,
Gotta be a
yeah,
small addition.
yeah,
All these pictures of trees falling.
maybe a
down.
couple $100.
It is. If I knew what I was doing, I would be there. Here it is. Yeah, so that's the sign that's down there now. I was just talking about putting a sign down there in the bottom. You know the sign, George, at the conservation area in that.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
And so right at the bottom, we could put this project's, supported by the CPA funds in the town of Templeton.
Yeah, we can do that. Does Phillips have any interest in? Make a whole new sign.
Yeah, no sense making another sign. This is the sign that's on there. So we're just talking about putting something
Oh,
on the
yeah.
bottom. Phillipson is still inactive as far as I know on their CPA. The
Yeah.
CPC, they haven't really,
Yeah, that shouldn't cost that much, a couple $100.
yeah,
Is that sheet metal? That looks like a metal.
yeah, it's just, I think it is. No, you can't even see it till you drive in there anyway, so. We'll work on seeing what that
Okay.
might cost and then bring it forward in the future.
Mhm.
But it is something, it's something that I dropped the ball on. In the past, so we want to make it all good. Any other discussion on the annual town meeting? Okay, potential projects, is there any, I don't know that we really need to talk about potential projects now. We got a lot of them coming up with the town meeting. We've had discussions on and off. We'll have plenty of time for that going out. Moving on to chair member comments, I just wanted to make a comment about that other sign, but other than that, I have nothing to add. Does anybody have anything they want to bring up?
I was wondering, did they do the Dwelly Farm walkthrough last weekend in the
Yes.
snow? They did.
Yeah,
I didn't go.
they had already scheduled that and it's hard to see plants in the snow.
Yeah,
But since I was so close and I said I'd be there, I went over there and I was surprised. There was at least a dozen cars parked there, several of whom, TCTV was there. I don't know if anything was, made a video of that. But, and then a few other people I recognized from town were there, as well as some people from other, like within the North County Land Trust family. Did a nice walk around. They gave a nice discussion of what they're doing and the layout and the, invasives control. And they could actually identify some of the invasives this time of year as well. So it was very well attended. It was, we'll have to ask them for when there's actually, not snow on the ground. Any other comments or anything to?
I do.
Yes,
CCTV did get footage at the Dwelling Farm hike, and we're hoping to get back out there and get some more footage once everything's nice and green.
great. Yes, and thanks for going down there.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a very nice walk.
A few meetings ago, Dennis mentioned trying to do a spring
Oh,
site walk.
Oh.
And I was just, while most of you were here, if you look at your guys' list of our open projects, what are the ones you would like to go see? So I can organize a day to go see them all.
Well, we haven't been back to the Grange since they done,
Okay, so the Grange would be one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Throw them out. Tell me what you want. What do you want to go see?
can't go see the walkway thing because it's not. done. No, you can come and see the bathrooms. I don't know,
we could take a walk around up there. That's good.
at the park at Gilman Way. I mean, the project will be going on,
You could show us the bathrooms and then you could show the tennis courts and
Yeah.
why they have funding and
whatever they're working on the tennis courts, yeah. The pickleball.
As long as the concession stand's open and we're up there.
I get something to eat. Well, that would mean I'd be working, so, because all of them would work.
You're the first.
Yeah, we're still waiting on.
Yeah, but
do you want to,
take a walk over there. And look at it, or-
Oh, absolutely, if you guys. want
We,
to go out and-
Otter Park,
Otter Pool.
yeah,
Oh,
Dam,
Want to take a.
Yeah.
show what Joanne's
Oh,
been talking about this whole
yeah.
time, yeah.
Yeah,
I did hear from Chris, how from Ty and Bond, and he is working up. Our next step, with information, what the permitting process will be. And, what we'll need for funds to move forward.
Got a little bit of information to add to that. Depot Pond is taking on some major significance to the state. It currently is rated as a poor dam, not a dangerous dam, which is the lowest setting, but it's now rated as poor. We have a resident of Baldwinville who is working hard with the state. They are very concerned about the dam and what would happen if it were to collapse. The state has now made 2 visits up there. They're arranging some grant money to do core analysis of the sediment at the bottom of the pond and core on the concrete work that is the dam, if you want to call it that. So it's really got the attention of the state right now. I don't know if and plus has the attention of the town because the town is fully aware of what's going on with the state. So I don't know that Otter River Pool is going to move up in the ranking of importance in comparison with Depot Pond.
No, and I think that it was already determined that that's not likely to be ever getting towards the top because not just with problems in Templeton, but it cost the Commonwealth. But what would it cost if we were as a town to
Yeah.
move forward to remove that?
Right, and
yeah.
so as far as Depot Pond goes, the town doesn't own that
Yeah,
property.
that's
And
the
that
big
was
So-
difference.
But they
Yeah.
may be put into a position where they have to, since the owner is, I don't know where they are, they're out of state. Somebody, if it's determined that it has to be dealt with, somebody's gonna have to pay. And it will probably end up being a combination of the state and the town will have to pay for the work. I don't know. Real early in this whole conversation now, I just wanted to bring forward that Depot Pond is under a magnifying glass right now, and the state is involved with it.
And I will just add to that, at the selectmen's meeting last night, they indicated that they were not currently pursuing a grant for that pond because of the fact that they don't own it.
Right. And that's our set.
That's where we're
Yeah.
at right now,
Right.
but something's gonna happen.
Do
Something's
we
gonna-
know when that
Right.
was built?
No.
I wonder if it didn't have something to do with the flood control.
Historically, I think there was industry based around it as well as the rail yard was right there. They
Right,
probably
right.
drew water out of it for the engines at some time. I am concerned about if they start doing sediment checks, what they're gonna find at the bottom of it.
Right, that could be a problem, but also If that dam is removed, is that gonna allow any flow from up on the hill to run right down Central Street and Ball?
Way above my pay grade.
Yeah, so I guess where we are with the discussion here is about site visits and perhaps if we're going to Otter River Pool, maybe we'll take a look at the Depot Pond, just so we
Yeah.
have a first-hand look at that. I also would like to add that maybe we could also add the Stonebridge Conservation Area in there
Yep.
because
Yeah.
there's been some concern about flooding and things like that. And I haven't reached out to Fish and Wildlife yet to see if there's something that they would allow, they hold a conservation restriction on there. But there is a big area within the property that was excavated and it just fills up with water and they got tailings on this one hill that you could reconnoiter the drainage so that it's better habitat and flow and more natural state, but no. So I'd like to add that to the list.
Yep, I got it.
Maybe we can't do these all in one day, but,
Well, I mean, not that much.
and so I just wanted to close the loop on the site visit. And,
Thank you.
anything else that we should add to that? I think that's probably enough.
Yeah, it's fine.
Anything going on with the Ballville High School?
They're still doing their
I mean,
thing.
they received
Haven't
state
heard
funding and
Yeah.
they'll
Yeah.
let us know when they know.
And they're in, they cut the big.
Well, what
ribbon.
about Earth Day?
Oh,
Gonna bring that
Earth
up?
Day is Monday, April 22nd, and the DPW in conjunction with the Board of Health have hired a dumpster for a cleanup day. They're doing at 25 Central Street in Baldwinville. So you are welcome to come down and join some town employees. We will be cleaning up the property. And if you bring a bag of trash from another road in town that you've cleaned up, you can be entered to win like a rain barrel.
What's that date?
Earth Day, which is Monday, April 22nd at 25 Central Street in Baldwinville, starting at 7:30 a.m.
Okay. So right along the river.
Also, they're gonna clean up that lot in there?
Yep.
Which also reminds me that they also mentioned that, how because I was immediately thinking about Pleasant Street and how they tore that building down there. Apparently that's out there for bid. So if anybody wants to buy that parcel of land, put up a monument. Have at it. So that's great. Earth Day, we did some cleanups back in the day and still need it.
Yeah. And another.
Their tagline is take a walk and clean up a block.
Okay. Nice. Sure there'll be some video opportunities. Any other things to add to the meeting? Next meeting is slated for May 9th at 7 PM. That'll be the week before the town meeting.
Good time.
So other than that, if there's nothing else to be heard, then we will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
It's made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed,